Hello there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Latara Dragoo, digital marketing strategist and branding consultant. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the power of personal branding. And I'll show you how to craft your unique identity to maximize your impact and attract your ideal clients. First of all, what is personal branding? Think of your brand as an extension of you. One of the best quotes I've heard about this is, your brand enters the room before you do. Some people say branding is what people say about you when you're not around. I think that's a little bit on the paranoia side, and too many people are very concerned about what other people think. So I kind of like the little tweak on that message of it enters the room before you, because your brand is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you when it comes to your marketing efforts, when it comes to connecting with your audience. So this is one of those underrated things that people don't think about until it's too late. So what is your mission statement? You want to take some time to craft what your brand means to you, and then your job is to convey that to your audience. So personal branding includes things like your voice, your message, your visuals, your reputation, and how you make people feel. So how do you want to be perceived? And a lot of people think your branding is just your logo, but it's a lot more than that. Your brand is your promise to your audience. What message are you conveying? And why does your branding matter? First and foremost, it differentiates you in a crowded market. It builds trust and recognition with your audience. It attracts loyal fans and new opportunities, and it creates a foundation for long-term success. What are some of the key elements in your brand? First of all, you have authenticity. You want to align your values and your voice. You want to convey that humanness, and you want to emote, and you want people to feel something when they think of your brand. And you want to be authentic in doing it. Next is consistency. You want to have cohesion across multiple platforms so that no matter where people first see you or hear about you or find out about you, they will keep seeing those same elements over and over again, and they'll start to connect the dots, so that if somebody finds you on social media, say on LinkedIn, and then they come across you again on Facebook, they won't just think you're two different people. They're going to recognize you, especially if you use the same photos, the same graphics, the same colors, the same visual elements, and the same messaging. Sometimes it looks like people are two different people, depending on which platform you see them on. Some people say they're a coach on LinkedIn, and then on Facebook they're a soccer mom or something. So just take a look at what you're doing with these different platforms, and are you intentional about that? If you're making two different messages, is there a reason behind it, or is it just willy-nilly? Next is your visual identity. And this is where all of those elements come in that people usually associate with your brand, such as your colors, your fonts, themes, imagery, and logos. You also want to think about, who is your target audience? You want to understand and connect with your audience on almost a subconscious level. So you really want to dive deep into who you're attracting through your branding. And there are a multitude of ways to do this. It's through your messaging, it's through your content, it's through your core values, it's even through the colors that you decide to use in your branding. So, what are some of the steps to build your brand? First of all, you want to discover your story. What makes you unique? What gets your audience to connect with you? You want to define your niche, clarify your genre and expertise. And don't be a generalist. If you're a dabbler of all things, you're a master of none. So if you're trying to be everything for everybody, you're probably going to miss the mark. You're probably not going to land with anybody because nobody is going to feel like you're speaking to them. So that's why you want to really get down to the nitty-gritty, because the more clearly you can define this, the more you're going to get into the heads of your ideal avatar. And when you speak to them, you want them to think, wow, it's like you're reading my mind. And that's where the deep impact comes in when you're using your brand. Next, you want to develop your message. What do you stand for? What impact do you want to make? Why are you doing what you're doing? Make that clear, because it might be polarizing. You might repel some people by doing this, but those are not your right fit clients anyways, and they're only standing in the way of your ideal clients. So this is a way to clear the path to the people that you want to work with the most. You also want to create visual consistency. So if your website and your social media and your book are all looking the same, then people are going to connect those dots, and you're creating touch points with them. And one of the things that I've heard is you have to create 7 touch points with somebody before they actually will make that decision to work with you. But I think that number is probably a lot higher now, especially with all of the noise, the competition, the distractions. It's harder than ever to make those crucial touch points with somebody that would lead them into a buying decision. So you want to amplify your brand's impact. And how do you do that? By leveraging social media and other online platforms, such as your website. You want to collaborate with other people, authors, influencers, what have you. You want to attend speaking engagements and events. You want to go to networking events. You want to connect with as many people as possible. And you want to build a strong sales funnel that will eventually lead people into your email list. So it's all of these different elements that are coming together to focus in, and it's almost like a magnifying glass. So instead of having all of this refracted light everywhere, just imagine that the light is almost like a laser beam shining through that magnifying glass. So that's how you want to think about your brand. You want it to all zero in on a specific point, because that will maximize your impact. What are some of the common challenges and solutions? So some people might be thinking these things. I'm hoping that I'm calling you out here because I want you to take a look at what your mental blocks are against branding. So one of the things that you might be thinking is branding feels fake. And this is why you want to focus in on the authenticity. You don't want a brand that does not represent you very well. And this is why the whole process of creating your brand is it's essential that you do it right. And you want to be authentic from the very beginning. You don't want to be trying to be something that you're not. So that's why it really is a personal brand as opposed to, say, a corporate brand. Okay. What if I'm not interesting enough? That's one of the thoughts that people might be thinking of. Why should I create a personal brand? It's because if you want to highlight your story and your passions, these are the things that will make you unique and be a differentiator among all of your competition. Another thing you might be thinking is, I don't know where to start. Start small and evolve over time. Focus on, say, one of your social media profiles, not all of them at first. Just get that one done, get that one right. And then once you have that dialed in and you look like a pro and people come to your profile and the first impression is that you look like the expert in your field, then you can move on to expanding to the other social media platforms. Because eventually you do want to be on all of them, but you can't be everywhere at once. So this is why you're expanding and growing and building on the work that you're doing and building on these layers of branding. So start small, knowing that everything you do is intentional, it's going to build on itself. So what is the role branding plays in building your business? It does two distinct things. It attracts and it solves. It attracts. It increases your know, like, and trust factor. It positions you as the expert. It allows your ideal audience to identify themselves. They'll raise their hand. They'll come to you. You're not going to have to be going around knocking on doors because people will know you, know about you, and know what you're up to, and they're going to raise their hand and say, sign me up. It also solves all of these problems. It's going to bridge the gap between you and your ideal client. It's going to bridge the gap between their problem and where they are now and their solution. So you're helping them solve that problem that keeps them up at night. And it opens doors of opportunity. Because once your reputation gets out there and people know about you before you enter the room, now you're not working so hard to explain yourself to people, to get people to understand what it is you do and where you're coming from. So it solves all of these things. So what can you do to improve your marketing? Because people don't realize that branding and marketing go hand in hand. Your branding is a part of your marketing, and your marketing is a part of your branding. And one of the key factors here is you want to be authentic. Being yourself and being seen and heard with authenticity will make you stand out in your marketplace. And your right fit clients will seek you out. And now, more than ever before, having that human element is so essential, especially with all of the AI and all of this automation and generality and sameness and just yuck. You want to stand out above all of this noise. And this is why personal branding has become so key in business success, to the point where even big corporations are creating personal brands. Think of Flo from Progressive Insurance. Think of the Caveman for Geico, or even the Gecko for Geico, because Geico actually has a lot of different personal brands within their advertising and their marketing. But they're doing this because they've realized that people can connect with a human better than they can connect with a business. So that's why personal branding trumps corporate branding at this point. So use branding as a tool. You need to make multiple touch points with the same people over and over again to finally get them to open up to you, to trust you, to realize that you are the person that they should be coming to. So this is why it's crucial for you to raise brand awareness, because it's creating these touch points. Your next steps. First of all, be intentional in all of your marketing efforts. Define your brand story and your values. Take a deep dive into What are these elements of your brand, even before you start in any of your marketing endeavors? Because creating this and going into all of your marketing efforts with intention will increase your impact and the outcome of all of these efforts. Next is you want to develop a strong presence. You want to build that consistent visual identity. You want to look omnipresent. You want people to get the impression that you are everywhere, so you must be somebody important. You also want to be transparent. You want to share your brand message with confidence. You want to be vulnerable. You want to have that element that people can relate to you because maybe they're going through the same problems and the same struggles that you went through. So creating this fake, perfect, shiny exterior is not the point to branding. So you want to make it personal. You want to imbue your brand with your personality. And when I say it's an extension of you, that's how I want you to perceive your brand. It's out there doing all the heavy lifting for you so that you are not spinning your wheels and grinding so hard just to try to get clients. And lastly, and most importantly, is to take action. Because sitting there in a vacuum, trying to get your brand perfect by working it and reworking it and overcomplicating it and overthinking it is not going to get you anywhere. You need to put yourself out there and let people see you. Because as the face of your own business, that's what's going to create that connection with people that will draw them in.